We all like an anime that can get us to think and get us to relate to characters that can think. Far too many anime fall into the trap where the main character is an absolute dolt doofus, does not think, but hey, even though they were an underdog, now they're secretly awesome, and the tragic backstory will not stop them from obtaining awesomeness. Dr. Stone is a breath of fresh air in the entirety of the shonen genre, and I am so happy it finally has begun, so I can talk about it. Even though I have read the manga up to a point, this video will have no manga spoilers, and I will only be talking about the happenstance that took place in episode 1. The 3 ways that Dr. Stone already outsmarted you from the very beginning, just to show how epic of a gamer anime this actually is. The first way, once pointed out, is extremely simple, but yet incredibly brilliant of the anime and the way it tells its story. Whenever a new season of anime comes out, the first thing any rational person does is immediately look through the list of upcoming anime on either AniChart or My Anime List and immediately put big fat check marks on all of the isekai anime coming out because, as we know, those are usually the best and most original. This season, we're seemingly only getting 4 seasonal isekai anime, which is a travesty, and I think we should be at least getting 8 every season. Whether you're a demon going to another world, you're a human going to a demon world, you're becoming a demon in another world, or your entire class was simultaneously transported to another world, we need more isekai anime, goddammit. And unfortunately, many people are not of the state of mind that they appreciate the greatness of isekai anime and understand that truly every anime should be an isekai anime, and in fact, every anime might be an isekai anime because of the lovely trend we have that you could potentially be reincarnated as a baby in an alternate world, which completely nullifies the whole idea of being an isekai, but hey, that's just what they do. Dr. Stone didn't want to be one of those generic isekais. It wanted to be something more. It wanted to be something better, but it also understands that isekai is, for the most part, the most quality anime of all time. I mean, it's the main character who's trapped in another world. It doesn't get much better, much more original, or much more thought-provoking than that. So Dr. Stone came up with the ultimate plan to avoid the entire scenario and all the issues the isekai genre has, but still tapping into all of its greatnesses. Dr. Stone did not want a fantasy anime. He wanted an anime based on science, but also wanted the isekai anime appeal. So this very cool magic death ray came down, turning everyone on the planet to stone. And luckily, our 2 main characters woke up and are totally fine. In this entirely new world, even though it's their old world, it's overpopulated by nature. Since nature reclaimed it, they have to find ways to survive, find ways to brace the elements, and find ways to save humanity. So what we're saying is, it's humans, but since the main character has like this whole scientific shiz going on and the other main character has the brawn, brains and the brawn combine to create your OP protagonist. Now that that's settled, the world is something completely and entirely different than the world that they used to live in. They also have the ability to pour this magic nitrile acid thingo on stonified creatures and turn them alive, meaning they have a potential harem waiting around the corner. OP protagonist, alternate world, potential harem. This is basically Isekai 101. It checks off all the boxes without being an isekai. Dr. Stone completely outsmarted everyone, creating the first non-isekai show in existence. An isekai that does not have to rely on fantasy to give us a cool world. An isekai that does not have to rely on a blatantly overpowered protagonist to give us our overpowered protagonist. And an isekai that does not randomly give them a harem of women to just follow their dicks around, but an isekai that gives them the ability to revive any women they desire to follow their dicks around. Low-key, isekai is a dope idea. The whole idea of the ultimate escapist fantasy into this whole new world they have to explore and make your headway in is incredible. And unfortunately, isekai almost became its own genre of anime due to how watered down that plotline seems to have become. It's become such a staple, it defeated the entire magic of it. So while I am entirely memeing by saying Dr. Stone is just a repackaged isekai, I say it with the highest of praises and with the most respect I can muster. Isekai done right is just a wonderful story, and Dr. Stone is isekai done right. But it's an isekai nonetheless, not packaged as an isekai, so therefore, it retains ultimate credibility, ultimate brilliance, and we get into part 2 of how Dr. Stone outsmarted you. And that is the science aspect. In isekai, there's magic and whatever, sure, I can trust whatever hell rules you want to pull out of your ass. You want the main character to be able to blow massive fireballs and take out armies with the condition that his dick must be hard while doing so, all the power to you. Much respect. The Whammon can only go into battle mode after experiencing an orgasm by the protagonist. Sure, 100% with you on that as well. Dr. Stone is based on science. And being that it's based on science, it can't take these shortcuts to fan service. No, the fan service must be worked for, and the epic moments must make logical scientific sense. Or at least that is what you would think. Being that I have full faith in the medium of anime, that it would never ever lead me astray, and that all food in Shokugeki no Soma would give me an orgasm as well, I can confirm that all the science in Dr. Stone is 100% accurate, and it outsmarts you because if it isn't accurate, you wouldn't be able to call it out on that. Oh yeah, sure, you mix the nitric acid in caves with bad poop, and it makes this ultimate depetrifying liquid thingy that can revive creatures that were turned to stone for thousands of years. But of course, they weren't turned entirely to stone. They were only an outer layer was stone, which again doesn't explain why their internal organs didn't rot. But hey, science! And you can't call them out on it. See, thankfully, the power system is based on science. And I could give you a simple example as to how if the power system would be something simpler, it would be far, far too easy to not fool the audience into making up BS. Not that Dr. Stone does that, I'm just saying it has the ability to do that unchecked, and it would eventually get hurt because of it. Take Yu-Gi-Oh! When we watched the anime, at least most of us, and by most of us I mean me, I did not really know how to play the card game. Original Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters, they were summoning shiz and like, oh, I'm gonna hit the moon and the moon's gonna explode and kill all your sea monsters, and I'm gonna fusion arrow my mammoth skeleton to your dragon so it disintegrates and dies in infinite Karibos and destroy your castle's flotation device so it crushes all your monsters. You know, really cool next level Yu-Gi-Oh! Shiz going on. Since the game had no defined rules at that point, well, you can't call them out on the BS. Now that we all know the game, the anime has to take much greater steps and lengths to avoid us from calling them out on, wait a second, you actually can't use a spell card during your opponent's turn unless it's a quick play. Or, why does your card's ability say that it gets summoned from the graveyard at every end phase, not only once? You know, easy ways to call out Yu-Gi-Oh! Now that you know what the game is about. But if, let's say, Yu-Gi-Oh! Would have been about chess, well, I summon my bishop, and if I send it diagonally to the corner fast enough, it can ricochet and destroy your queen. Nani? You fool, you've walked right into my trap. I now castle my king with your castle. You know, fun stuff like that definitely would not fool the fan base. Most of us more or less know how to play chess, and therefore, we can call them out on it. Dr. Stone outsmarts us by not only saying that everything that they're doing follows a logic and follows science, but the science is so obscure that there's no way we know enough about it to call them out on it if it's wrong, making them completely infallible and yet have ultimate reputation. Brilliant series like Furumeto the Alchemist Brotherhood followed a very similar approach, except everything was very basic. Roy Mustang turned a spark into a flame, Ed was able to reform ground into spikes or spears based on the mineral density. You know, basic shiz you can kind of figure out with your own 2 cents. But then Galaxy Brain, Rick and Morty level IQ Senku shows up and like, oh yeah, we're gonna mix bat poop with cave pee and blammo unpetrify the people so we can have more cleavage around. It's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. At least procreation-wise, that is. And to all the pseudo-intellectuals and science students that are watching it with people that don't know that much, of course you're gonna nod your head. Oh yeah, of course, bat poop mixes with cave shiz and blammo. You get nitrile, which unpetrifies people. Of course that makes sense. Because you don't want to be called out on it. Dr. Stone has walked you into the ultimate double trap, and because Senku knows science, that means he can now differentiate between every type of herb and mushroom ever. But I believe it because he knows science. Oh, but you know how you really know he knows science? He has E equals MC squared written on his shirt. And that's like really high level science. So if he's on that level of science, then other levels of science are clearly within his grasp. I'm not saying that the science in Dr. Stone does not make sense. I'm saying I can't prove that it does or does not make sense. And therefore I am blindly trusting it completely completely, just like I tried that Shokugeki no Soma will cause orgasms on contact, and therefore, it completely outsmarted me, because it could be saying BS, which it probably isn't, and I would not know any better. Very cool, Dr. Stone. Very cool. And the third and final way Dr. Stone outsmarts all of its viewers is with the protagonist conundrum. For the most part, when we're introducing a protagonist, it's more or less easy to pick them out. You know which character is gonna end up OP, amassing the harem, and like destroying the universe as well as saving it at the same time somehow, just purely based on the circumstantial evidence that surrounds them. If you have a lineup of 10 characters, and you ask all of them about their basic pasts, and some of them have nice parents, some of them unfortunately have sad homes, some of them have siblings, and there's that one whose family is eaten by dinosaurs in middle of New York City, and now they're a transfer student in Japan. That guy is gonna be the main character. There has to be a certain level of tragic backstory that outclasses every other character's level of tragic backstory tenfold, and that is the only proper reason that they can hold the mantle of protagonist and become the hero and save the world and be crazy overpowered, harem of bitches, you know the drill. But with Dr. Stone, they completely annihilate that false sense of reality and that safe zone that we always find ourselves in, by giving everyone an equally tragic backstory, wiping out everyone's families in a completely neutral way. We don't know who will have the plot armor. We don't know who will be the protagonist, even though somehow Senku has really weird hair with like green tips and stuff, and I don't exactly know how that works, but I'm sure science explains it somehow. But that aside, there's no way to tell who the protagonist is, therefore leaving the entire story in an air of mystery, with everyone having an equal level tragic backstory. This is the brilliant way that Dr. Stone outsmarted us again. What an absolutely brilliant 4,000 IQ series we're dealing with here. I personally am really excited for the future episodes, and I'm really looking forward to getting back into the manga, because with a show this damn smart that outsmarted every single viewer, even you, definitely subscribe, even though I'm making fun of you. Obviously, every episode will get into one or two pretty dope philosophical conundrums. And speaking of, I believe it's going to be at the end of the next episode, episode 2, that we're going to be breaching our very first philosophical conundrum of Dr. Stone, and that is honestly where I started liking the series. Memes aside, and you know I'm not just saying this to stretch out the video a little longer, I'm already past 10 minutes. Dr. Stone truly is a really great shonen anime and shonen manga, and I highly recommend it if you have yet to see it. It's gonna be one of the highlights of the season, and this season looks really dope, with Dr. Stone, Fire Force, and Vinland Saga all going on right now, and all being based on extremely popular and dope manga, at least as much as I've read of each of them. And as far as Dr. Stone goes, it keeps getting better and better and better. You kind of feel like the initial twist of everyone turning to stone is the high point, and now we just have to have this regular survival thing. But no, where most isekai fail is that none of them manage to top that initial twist that traps the protagonist in this alternate world. While with Dr. Stone, the stakes keep getting higher, the characters keep getting better, and the story amps up tremendously throughout. Every arc is better than the arc preceding it, and there's always something to look forward to behind every single corner. If you have yet to pick up Dr. Stone, again, I highly recommend you do so. It's a great kickoff to the summer 2019 anime season. I was considering doing an analysis video on it, but I decided, hey, I was in the mood to meme. And yeah, that's the basic Nux thought process behind making videos. I'm glad I was able to welcome you into this very secret information that has now been revealed to the outside world. If you did like this video, feel free to leave a like. And if you want me to do more of this style videos, be it satire or analysis on more seasonal stuff, definitely let me know below and subscribe for future anime videos. Link in the description to my Twitter, feel free to follow me there, as well as the link to the Rant Cafe podcast, where we upload weekly, especially on the seasonal stuff if that's what you're interested in. I also have a link there to my Patreon, and all patrons are invited to the Discord server. Patrons are extremely thanked, and I'm humbled that you're willing to help me out, as well as super duper grateful because of all the videos that have been getting demonetized on my channel, one after the other. I especially wanted to thank David and Noel, Burning Bush, Rise Warren, Gammy, Sage of Snake, Steelers, Wilson Fletcher, Team Sparky65, Nemo, Lazy Ronan, Kirthy Worm Jin, Chunky Nibbles, Alison Stricker, Rockamaru, The Wolf of Gar, JD Fincher, Elaser, Shin, Ravi Landek, Jordan, Butto Etex, Jungner, Talon, Best is Dilf Cross, Mitchell Garnett, Miriam Ramirez, Tregreen, Hammers the Great, Because Hashirama Zells, Ian Martin, Praise Lord Girigamishu, Billy Thompson, An Anemic Android, Shinon, Lord Sashomaru, Kid Ori, JJ Slaybram, Sodden Grider, Joshua Faber, Seymour Butts, The Night Brights, LJ, Kaiser Wanar, alias Adensoko, Nothing But a Fan, Divine Reigns, Teakui, Skylar Legs, some guy named Bob, Los Polos Hermanos, Michael Fiddler, Juan Centeno, King Rainbow, Jeffrey Balthazar, and Karma. I also wanted to thank the Lord Tweegarank, Noctris13, Zach Klapperick, Pod6 was Jerks, Kanata loves Nux, Nux loves Kanata too, Elliot Gonzalez, Rari, Soda Nerdified, Petite Dilf, Everest Grenadie, Braden Watson, The Ninth Master, Luke Swank, and Christopher Smith. Thanks to the God Who's Up Rank, Dark Element, Eduardo Flores, Puzerker, MD, Steve, Skyflight44, Muafak, Kana, Maurice Luis Dreyfus, and Esposito, and thank you so much to Steve and Gintama for Life for having Hashirama cells. I thank you all from the bottom of my heart for supporting me. It means the world to me, and it also helps tremendously. I hope you did enjoy this video. Let me know your thoughts on this style of doing random satire videos on random current anime, and remember to stay weird, fam.